Aloha, it's your boy Neglected Gundam here. I hope you weren't too lonely without me. But I got one question for you. You wanna ride this slide? Well, it's gonna cost you.
Hey kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath.
Today we will be looking at Waterslide decals, and we will see how to put them on. But before we do, I'm going to use Kyrios just as an example of what comes in a box when you buy a Gundam. You're going to have decals that come with the suit. These are the normal decals that come with the suit. A lot of people don't like to use them. And then also you might have a foil sticker like this. It's going to have all the eyepieces and camera pieces, anything that could be reflective. What I went ahead and did is actually buy a third-party Waterslide. So this is something that doesn't come with the kit. You got to buy it separate. Some Waterslides are actually produced by Bandai, and you can buy those separately. Or you can get third-party if Bandai doesn't make them. For example, Kyrios did not have Bandai Waterslide decals, so I had to buy them third-party. Thank you, Kyrios. That will do. Get out of here. Now's the time we can go ahead and give Kyrios a big round of applause for helping us out today. But also, one last thing I wanted to show you was a type of decal that Kyrios did not come with, and this is dry transfer decals as well. So, I'm going to go ahead and go over what the different types of decals are and their pros and cons today. Alright, just for example, we are going to go ahead and look at the Hyakushiki 2.0. I'm going to go ahead and open this up and we will see just exactly what comes inside, what type of decals you get, and what to expect. Now when we go ahead and open that package, this is a good example of different types of decals that can come with the suit. Again, you have the foil stickers for the eyes. You have the dry transfer decals, and then also the regular sticker sheet. Now we will be going over the pros and cons of each of these. And then also, this is third party, and I went ahead and bought Waterslide decals for the Hyakushiki 2.0 because Waterslides do not come with that suit. Now, very quickly, before I show you how to use the Waterslide decals and apply them, let's go ahead and look at the pros and cons of each one of these decals we have in front of us and see why we would or would not use them. And let's get started. Alright, so here we have the foil stickers. Now the pros to these is if you don't paint your kits, you can go ahead and put these foil stickers on. It will go ahead and make the eyes shine. There really are no cons to these. It's just that if you are a painter, you're probably not going to use them. Next up are the decals that come with the suit. These are sticker decals. The pros to these are that it does come with the suit. And if you're not a painter, you can go ahead and put these on the suit and you don't have to worry about a top coat covering them up. They will stay on the suit themselves. Now the cons for this guy is that they are square decals with raised edges and it reflects light in an unnatural way. If you don't paint the suit and you place it down but you want to go ahead and pick it up, it will deform the shape of that decal. However, if you are a painter and you use these, if you go ahead and pick up that decal on a painted piece, it will most likely take the paint with it. Now, for example of how this looks on a painted kit, we will look at the Master Grade Crossbone Gundam Full Cloth. Alright, so this is a good example of that sticker I was talking about. In the right lighting, you can really see the square of the negative space. The decal is in the middle, however, there's a lot of negative space for the sticker, and then you'll see the square. So, in the right lighting, you won't see that square, but if you move over, then you actually see it, and it doesn't look very pretty. It's not nice. And if we come down here, you can see on the calves, you do have the stickers again, and then also on the ankle guards, you have those stickers. So, in my opinion, they don't look good. And that's a pretty good example of why most painters don't want to use these decals on their painted kits. Now, we have more of a fun decal here. This is known as a dry transfer decal. Now these decals are shaped more to the size of the decal themselves. It has more of a painted on feel once you put them on the kit, and The last pro is that it is fun to transfer to the model. The cons, however, is that you have to use tape to apply them. The shape of the tape while applying to the model can kind of throw off your positioning when you put it on, so it may not be perfect when you go ahead and lift up the tape and the backing. After all that effort, the decal might be crooked. Another con is that they do tear easily, and it's not necessarily a con, but you should put on top coat to protect these decals. And then here on the underside of the full cloth, you'll see the decal for the XMX1. That is a dry transfer decal. That one actually looks very good, and it doesn't have that negative space around it with the gigantic square because it's not a sticker. In my opinion, the dry transfer decals look a lot better than the stickers. However, they are a little bit harder to place. But right now, you can already tell the difference between the regular stickers and the dry transfer decals. And now we'll get into the bread and butter of this video, the Waterslide decals. The pros of these decals are that they look the best, you can position them before their final placement, has a painted on look, and they are more forgiving than the other two. They are fun to apply, and they can weather very easily. However, the cons of these decals are most of them have to be bought separately. Some decals are not made by Bandai, so you have to go third party. And if you've never done them before, they can be intimidating. They do have a cost to get into them, as you do have to buy materials. Alright, now this suit here is the high grade 1/100th Serpent Custom. I went ahead and recreated the Serpent Custom that was shot by Heavy Arms in the movie. I wanted it to be a dirty aesthetic at nighttime during the battle. All the decals here are Waterslide decals that were left over after I did the Master Grade Wing Gundam and the Master Grade Tall Geese. I went ahead and did custom placement on those decals. But just as a quick comparison, they almost are reminiscent of dry transfer decals because there's no negative space. There's no gigantic square where the sticker or the decal sticks out. It's literally the shape of the decal itself. And it has a more painted on feel. So there's no raised edges, and once you put a top coat on, it looks like it's been painted on. Alright, so on the Serpent Custom, you can see these decals have been a little bit weathered, but not too bad, maybe just a little dirty. Now, for a different comparison of how you can weather those decals, let's go ahead and look at another suit. Alright, this suit here is the Master Grade P Bandai GM Custom, and it has been customized further than the custom was in Stardust Memory. Just look at the decals that we have here. Once I laid those decals, I was able to go back with a sharp X-Acto knife and kind of chip away at it, so it looks like it was painted on, but after time and weather and just terrible conditions, that decal has been taken away, chipped and damaged. So this is how you can weather Waterslide decals as well. This is one of the first projects that I tried to weather decals on. I think it came out quite well, but you can always just damage those decals. Now, like I said, you would have to buy these separately if you wanted them for your kit, or you could buy one of two examples here. We have the Vercal lineup. The Vercal lineup of suits is very nice to buy. You can buy them any time of the year. They are pretty much always being printed. And they do come with water slides. Now when we look at a Vercal suit, we have the version Katoki, and we can thank that man for having us put on so many frickin' decals. Thanks, Katoki. Now is a good time to give a round of applause to the Wing Zero Custom Vercal for helping us out today. Fly away, little birdie. Now the next type of model that's going to come with these Waterslide decals is probably actually going to get a lot of hatred from me saying this, because one of my favorite lines is to suckle from that sweet, sweet nectar of premium Bandai. This here is the Master Grade Stark Jigen. These suits are a little bit more rare to get. They only get produced certain times of the year, and you have to pre-order them, or you get stuck paying scalpers prices. Now inside this suit you will see that it does come with the Waterslide decals. That is one reason why I love Premium Bandai. Alright, Stark Jigen, now it's time for your date with the Kshatriya. If only they made the Master Grade Kshatriya. I'm sure we'd all like that. Alright, to apply the Waterslide decals, we will need water. We will need a container to keep that water in. We need a sharp X-Acto knife to cut out the decals. Now on the piece itself, you can go ahead and use a drop of water, or you can use a drop of micro set. The micro set is optional, you don't need it. However, it does soften up the decals and it gets it ready for better adhesion. What I like to use is a little pipette to apply either the water or the micro set to the piece. Gives you a little more control. We will need tweezers to deal with the decal and putting it on. We're going to go ahead and use a Q-tip to press down that decal and get all the water from underneath it out. We will need a little paintbrush here. And the paintbrush is for applying the micro sol. This is something you will need to buy. The micro set is optional. However, the micro sol, you will want to buy that because that does set the decal in place. This is pretty much everything that you need. If I forgot anything, I'll go ahead and show you in the demonstration. So this tutorial video will pretty much be taking the place of the next work in progress for the Exia, as I will be working on the Exia to demonstrate to you how to apply Waterslide decals. Now that we have our pieces in front of us, it is important to note that you are going to need a gloss coat. So whether that be gloss paint that you would lay down, or after you applied the paint level, you are going to put a gloss top coat on it. However, for the Waterslides to stick, it is going to have to be gloss. That is the best surface for it to stick. If it is matte, then there are micro bumps in the matte top coat, and that will actually prevent the decal from adhering all the way. Alright, so if you've ever been hesitated to put on a Waterslide, I'm going to show you how to do it. Let's go. First, we will go ahead and take our piece that we want to add a Waterslide to, and just for comparison, I've already put this one on, so you can see what it looks like on and off, and I will be using this for reference where to place these. Alright, so after looking at the instruction manual, I know that I am going to be looking for Decal 85. So the Waterslides that we are using today are actually going to come from Flaming Snow Studio. This is a third party. I went ahead and ordered offline. These are the regular decals for the Exia. They also do have hologram decals as well. However, those are sometimes sold out. So if you get lucky, you get lucky. I have already cut out some decals for this project. 85 is going to be here. So like I said, we will need one pipette. And I have the micro set here. Again, you can use water for this step. You don't have to use the micro set. What I do is I gently squeeze and just get a little bit for now. Just a little. And because of science, it just stays in the pipette. It will not leak out. That is nice. Alright, we are ready to cut this decal out. And just remember, if your decal sheet has a number on there, that is also a decal. So when you go ahead and loosen these parts by putting them in water, the number will also be floating around, so you could take that out or leave it on. Now we have decal 85 and 84. I have my little container for water. Alright, time to learn how to swim, little buddy. Right to the deep end. Alright. So now we will give that just a few seconds. So you don't need too much of this actually. Alright, now this is the exciting part. This is the cool part. The decals just slide. So this is what I think that most people are hesitant to try water slides for. This is actually the really cool part. You just make sure that this is going to be wet on the surface there. Put this on. And they call it a slide because you can literally adjust it and you can slide it. Alright, and then we're going to use the placement on this guy to figure out our placement on this guy. I'm basically looking to see how far this decal is from the edge, and I want to make sure that the piece we're working on is a similar distance. Now I want to show you a cool trick. So that I have a straight edge here on my Q-tip, and I want to line up this decal. I'm just taking from this point to this point, lining up my straight edge, and then just moving it up. If my decal is on properly, then as I move it up, the straight edge should hit both decals at the same time. Okay, looks pretty good to me. Now before I completely flatten it down, there is a little bit of water in the bottom there. I'm just going to go ahead and get that out. Okay, and then to place the decal, I want to start in the middle and roll down. And then go back to the middle and roll up. And now those decals are in place, what we need to do next is set them. Alright, in order to set those decals we need micro sole. Micro sole will go ahead and soften those decals up and make them conform to a flat piece or even a curved piece. Alright, so now that those decals are set in place, this one is already finished. I'm going to let this one dry. It is very important to let this one dry on its own. Don't even touch it because sometimes it does deform the decal, but when it dries it will be perfectly smooth and straight. So my rule of thumb is I don't even look at it. I just put it in my cat scratcher to the side and forget about it. Alright, we'll go ahead and try another piece here. We're going to go ahead and find the next piece that we're working on. We need decal 13. Alright, so we're going to find decal 13. So 13 would be here. Now one rule of thumb that I like to do is because you see that the decal sheet gets a lot of different holes in it, negative space. What I do, and this might help you, is there's 13 here. So don't cut out the first one if you're only using one or two. Don't cut out these ones. Cut out the one all the way at the end, because the number is here and then immediately you can look at the number and then see the decal there. So that's why if I use one, I'll do the end first going towards the number, because sometimes I have in the past cut out the one next to the number and then it gets a little confusing when there's like a whole blank space here and then there's like decals just floating over here. It's like, oh, okay, it was 13. Alright, so it's a quick tip. I don't know, it may help you, it may not, but I like to do the one at the end. Alright, we're going to let that one chill. We're going to take it out and let it sit to the side, and then I'll show you another tip, I know. One thing I want to mention is if you are going to keep your decals on the same surface as your micro sole or micro set, every single time you take the cap off, don't just put it back on your table. Put the cap back on and set it down. The reason this is so low is probably because of 8 years ago when it spilled over on a Master Grade Wing Gundam's decal sheet and it just completely ruined like half of the decal sheet. So I had to actually buy another decal sheet just to finish that project. But just a little tip. Go ahead and put that cap on. It'll save you lots of trouble. And this is why I say that these are so much easier to work with than regular stickers or dry transfer, because you can actually just move them. Slide them around, have some fun. Go ahead, start in the middle and roll out. Go back to the middle and roll out again. All right, these are done. We're going to go ahead and put them aside. We'll do one more. All right, for our last one, we're going to go ahead and do this piece here. We need 78. It's a rather cool piece. All right, this is 78 right here. Let's cut it out. Don't ask me why I use an apple. I just do. All right. This decal is a little bigger, so I'm going to put a little more liquid on there. With a big decal like this with lots of different corners and edges, you just want to make sure to micro move it and move everything at the same time so you're not crimping any edges, and you just want to keep it straight. And that's how easy water slides are. I mean, they're not hard. It's just intimidating for people who don't know how to do them, so now you know how to do them. I hope this helps you make that decision to buy water slides, because ultimately I think they're the best decals. I just wanted to thank you today for watching this video. If you watched it all the way through, I really do appreciate it. The watch hours do add up on YouTube. I am trying to make this a full-time career for myself, so I do appreciate all the new subscribers that I have. If you are not a subscriber and you do like this content, I am more of a work-in-progress channel. If you want to go ahead and come on this journey with us, I do have a lot of projects in mind, and we will be seeing a lot of builds in the future. Heck, you never know, you might even get inspired by a build that I do. It might give you some good ideas. I really do appreciate all the views, all the likes, all the comments. I appreciate all the subscribers and all the time you guys are watching these videos. Again, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you have a great day. I hope that you have a great week. And until next time, I hope you don't feel that neglected now. Some water slides actually come from Bandai themselves. So many decals. So many decals. Now we can all thank Katoki. Now we can all thank Coca-Cola for helping us out today. Fly away, little birdie. Like I said, you might have to buy them separately unless you want to suck on that sweet, sweet nectar of premium Bandai. Quick backstory on this guy is that I was moving when I lived in Hawaii, and I had all my Gundams in the back of my truck. And this one was still in the runners. I hadn't clipped it out, but it was in the box. And that box opened up and 2 or 3 of the bags of the runners fell out onto the road. And I looked in my rearview mirror. I saw that they fell out. I said, okay, I gotta stop and pick them up. But But 2 cars behind me, I swear they swerved into those bags, and I saw pieces explode in my rearview mirror that you'd never seen before. And I said, oh my gosh. And I went and I saw which runners got run over, and of course it was the orange pieces, which were all the custom pieces for the custom GM, and I was devastated. So I saw all these pieces explode on the road after getting run over by 2 cars. So I went ahead and made this a damaged custom GM. I like to call this guy the fully loaded Joey. He comes from Australia, and it has been customized to the pilot's specifications, wants, and needs. I would say mostly the one thing that's keeping people away from Waterslide decals is just their hesitation to try them. They might be afraid to mess up a project that they're working on. In all honesty, I was kind of afraid to mess up on my first project when I used Waterslides as well. And that's why I'm making this tutorial, so you can see how to put them on yourself, because clearly you can see that they are a very nice decal that you would want on your suit. And in my opinion, they're a lot easier to use than dry transfer decals. I think dry transfer decals are very nice as well. However, they're not as easy as Waterslides to use.